Okay, here's one more guided practice problem. Okay, so we're looking at the third question. What is the y-intercept of this equation? And I'll do it algebraically again. Okay, so just pause the video, try the question on your own, and then I'll go through it algebraically and graphically. Okay, so algebraically, I'm thinking again about a y-intercept. That's that point. I'm sorry about that. A y-intercept is that point where x is 0 and we're finding the value of y. So we have y equals 0 squared plus 10 times 0 plus 15 if we substituted 0 in for x. That is y equals 0 and 15, which adds up to 15. So when I put in that x was 0, I got that y was 15. So 0, 15 would be my y-intercept. If I try doing that on a graph, okay, so it's y equals x squared plus 10x plus 15. And let's go ahead and put it in right here. Y equals x squared plus 10x plus 15. And if you notice, I don't see a y-intercept. I don't see that the line crosses the x-axis. We think it's at 15. So let's just move around our window. Easier here than on a graphing calculator in school. But okay, here we could just easily move around the window and see that yes, 0, 15 is the y-intercept. It is the place where this graph crosses the y-axis. Okay, and now, congratulations for getting this far. Keep up the great work. I'm happy that you are watching the videos today, and please make sure to keep coming on and watching the videos every single day. Please send me an email saying that you watched the video and you saw this meme. Tell me which meme you saw, so that I could send you something back so you could start earning some sort of prize for all of your hard work. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to Khan Academy. Okay, so I'm not going to continue with today's lesson. If you want more answers, you'll have to come on to Google Meet. Okay, so please try to complete all of the answers on all the questions on your own before the Google Meet. And then when you come onto Google Meet, you'll just ask me any questions you came across. I'm not going to reteach the whole lesson today. I'm just going to answer the questions you had on the rest of the problems. So think of the rest of the problems as your independent practice time. And then when you come on Google Meet, that's like the review of your independent practice. Okay? Now I'm going to go on to Khan Academy. So anyone who is interested in help, this is the first Khan Academy lesson that I assigned you this week. It's called Parabolas Intro. Okay, and let's see, they gave me 7 questions, so that's pretty good. You'll see about half of the questions that you could come across. And they're different questions, mostly visual, about a parabola. In case you were having trouble with any of them, I figured I'll show you a set. So this says, which parabola opens up? Well, the opening to this one is down on the bottom, so that would definitely not be it. This one has an opening up on top. And this one has an opening up on top, so those two open up. Okay, and the next question we have is draw the axis of symmetry. So yesterday I talked about the axis of symmetry. That's the line that goes through the vertex. Okay, the vertex of this parabola would be right up there at the top. Okay, that would be the vertex. So if we have the line going through that vertex, this is our axis of symmetry, and that line is called x equals -3. That's our axis of symmetry. Okay, mark the vertex of the parabola. Well, the vertex is the turning point, which could also be the minimum or the maximum. This graph has a minimum right there. That minimum would be the vertex of this parabola. So that was a review of the vocabulary from yesterday. Okay, next one. Which parabola has one x-intercept? Think about what an x-intercept is. X-intercept is the point on the x-axis. Well, A crosses the x-axis in 2 places. B does not cross the x-axis at all. C is on the x-axis in just one spot. So that's the one that crosses, that has just one x-intercept. Okay. And graph a parabola whose vertex is at 3, 5. We need a vertex at 3, 5. Okay, so I put, got a point up at 3, 5. And it has a y-intercept at y equals 1. Okay, y-intercept at y equals 1. Well, if my vertex is all the way up at 3, 5, and I needed to hit the y-axis at 1, it must be that this is going to be a downward parabola, right? That's the only way that it could have the vertex up there and hit the y-axis down there, but so far it doesn't touch y equals 1. It's still at a half. So let me see if I lift this. It's kind of confusing. That doesn't look like y equals 1 to me. I wonder if I could, okay, maybe it's just not a perfect graph. So I'm having trouble getting that. Let's see. Nope, not quite. If I go like that, the y-intercept is at 3. Maybe they want me to switch my points. Okay, so we'll get that y equals 1 first. Okay, I got a point on y equals 1. I think that was my mistake, that I had to actually put the green point there, and then we'll pull this up to 3, 5. And now I got it. Okay, so my vertex at 3, 5, my y-intercept at y equals 1. Okay, now we want x-intercepts at -3 and -5, and the minimum value is at y equals -4. So the minimum is supposed to be down at y equals -4. And the x-intercepts are supposed to be at -3 and at 5. So let's get an x-intercept at 5. Okay, now I need to move this over so that I have -3. Now I have x-intercepts at -3 and at 5. And the the minimum has a y value of -4. Okay, but it didn't have to be on the y-axis because it's not the y-intercept. It's just the minimum, which could be anywhere, but the y value there had to be -4. Okay, and a parabola intersects the x-axis at x equals 3 and x equals 9. What is the x-coordinate of the parabola's vertex? Okay, this is confusing. So I'm going to show you this on Smart Notebook, and I'll try my best to make it clear without a real graph. Okay, so here's my graph. I need x-intercepts at x equals 3 and x equals 9. So if that's 3 and that's 9. Okay. They want to know the x-coordinate of the vertex. Okay, the x-coordinate of the vertex. So that means that somewhere in between 3 and 9, we either have a minimum or a maximum. Okay, we have either a minimum or a maximum. Now, the thing about the vertex is that this graph has to be symmetrical around those points, right? It has the axis of symmetry going through it. It has to be equal on both sides. So the distance from 3 to the vertex and the distance from 9 to the vertex have to be the same. So as we think about going halfway between 3 and 9, well, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? We have 3 on that side, 3 on that side. So it would be at 6. The x value would be 6. So they're pretty much asking you for the axis of symmetry between a parabola that has x-intercepts at 3 and at 9. So the axis of symmetry would be 6. X would be 6. Okay, that one was kind of confusing. But hopefully if you watched all of this, then you should be okay with any questions that come your way. If not, feel free to email me with any questions. Have a great day. Oh, I didn't stop the video, but I was just finishing up. I'll stop the video.